Welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan Fox, medium smart journalist, and today we are going to talk about being served in a federal lawsuit, avoiding service, and bad parenting. Let's get into it. Now, a lot of you know that I'm covering the What the Hales case, where Jeremy Hales, a YouTuber, is suing a lot of other YouTubers for tortious interference, defamation. He's suing his neighbors for defamation, and it's all connected, right? We're not going to get into the underlying case. What we are going to talk about today, though, anybody could follow. So if you haven't followed this case, this video is still for you because this is about dodging service and also bad parenting. When you're a public figure on YouTube, what are your duties to your children to avoid putting them in a spotlight that would subject them to ridicule? The person that I'm speaking about today, well, his name is Robbie Keszey. He has a YouTube channel called Get Swamped. I don't know, he wrestles alligators or something. He has an animal sanctuary. He has spent time in prison before for illegally, I think the illegal sale of certain alligators. I don't know. It's a whole thing. You can look it up. It's Googleable. But this is one of the people that Jeremy Hales is suing in federal court and has been trying to serve now for several months. And the lengths that this person has gone to avoid service, well, let's just say it has grown to epic levels. And today we're going to go over all of the machinations that this man has taken to avoid this service, including using his own daughter as a human shield. Shame on you, Robbie. What a ridiculous, unmanly thing to do to your daughter. Be a real man, be a father, just accept the papers. But it's too late now. He's been served, and we're going to talk about how crazy this got. Okay, so what we're looking at here is Robbie Keszey's affidavit of what he says happened on July 15th, the day that he was served. Now, he's been dodging this service for quite a while now. The process server had been, parked outside his home for several nights waiting for him. But something that complicated this story a little more is that Robbie Keszey's wife works for the sheriff's department. And there is some question as to whether the sheriff's department alerted her or she was alerted somehow to the fact that a process server was outside their home, allowing Robbie to avoid him. See, as a process server, if you're going to stake out somebody's home, you have to alert the local police. Well, Robbie's wife works for the local police. So is that a conflict of interest? Sure seems so. But anyway, so he had been successfully dodging this service for a while. And this is his statement that went into court when he was asking the judge to quash this service for lack of jurisdiction and also not proper service. And we're going to read pieces of this. Now, what happened earlier in the day was the process server found him in his truck and was following him on the road. And instead of, pulling over and finding out why this guy is behind you, Robbie decided to call the police and have them pull over the process server. Meanwhile, he drove over the sidewalk, but the police wouldn't stop him, even though the police admitted that he did that. That's in another video, which I don't have time to get into today, because what happened at his house is really what I want to talk about, because it shows that effective service was done despite this man claiming that it wasn't. So the first part about this is about the car chase, which really is irrelevant. Basically, all you need to know is the process server was following him. He got pulled over by the police. When Robbie called the police gave him a warning, didn't give him a ticket, and they informed Robbie. We'll read this part. For fearing both my and my son's safety, I deliberately altered my route through Bushnell, Florida, making several turns to confirm I was being followed. The trailing vehicle continued to pursue me. Concerned, I contacted the sheriff's department, who dispatched deputies and ultimately stopped the vehicle. At no point did the driver identify himself or attempt to serve me with any papers. Well, how could he? You were running. After deputies contacted the trailing vehicle, I continued with my plans. Approximately 20 minutes later, a deputy called to inform me that the person following me was attempting to serve legal papers and asked if I would return to the scene. So now we know he's been notified by the sheriffs that he's being served. Given that I was already on the turnpike and did not feel safe. You didn't feel safe with the sheriffs there waiting to help you get served? I declined. So now here's where the part of using your child as a human shield comes in that really upsets me. Now, his child, who was accepted service for him, was over 18. She's an adult. She's 21 years old. But the fact that he put her in this situation really bothers me as a parent, especially as someone who has a YouTube channel, who is in the public eye. I protect my children from that as much as I possibly can. My adult daughter is the only one whose face has ever been on my YouTube channel, only when she was, turned 18, and that was her choice. My minor children, no way, man. And in this situation, I have already instructed my adult child, if a process server comes to the door, you just accept the service. Don't do anything silly. Don't get on camera in any way. Just accept the service, right? Because I don't want her subjected to ridicule. However, which would absolutely happen because my enemies and whatever, they would love to have that footage, right? Of something happening at my house. Robbie should know this. He should know that by calling the police, he's inviting cameras onto his property to film his daughter, which will then be discoverable by anyone in the public through FOIA and put on the internet, and people are going to laugh at it, especially because of how absurd he makes this. Later that evening, my daughter called me in distress. When she arrived home after dark, she found an unfamiliar vehicle parked in our driveway blocking access, which we will see in the video in the public footage was not true because she got right up to the gate. So how could he be blocking access if her car was sitting right outside the gate? Legal papers had been taped and wrapped around our gate, preventing her from entering the property. This was very creative. My daughter was frightened and called me for help. Again, frightened of papers on the gate. She knew that her dad was being served because the guy had already been there and talked to them earlier, and you'll see that in his report, telling them that he was a process server and he was trying to serve these papers. And she told him, "We don't live here." That's a lie. Now comes the part where Robbie uses his daughter as a human shield. I again contacted the police, who arrived wearing body cams, you dummy, ordered the individual to leave, and remained on site while my daughter safely entered the property. The property is both our home and an animal sanctuary. Security and controlled access are essential, and any uninvited presence is a threat to both people and animals. There was no threat. The man was parked way down at the end of the driveway, and he was just sitting in his car. That's not a threat to anybody. At no point was I personally handed any legal documents. Yeah, because you weren't there. Nor was there any valid substitute service. That's not true. He claims that the act of taping papers to the gate did not constitute proper service, but it does, and I'm going to show you how when we get to the video. Particularly as it caused a disturbance. No, what disturbance? Prevented access? Nope, it didn't. It was painter's tape. There was no prevention of access, and left my family feeling unsafe in their own home. Well, whose fault is that, Robbie? You could have turned around on the turnpike. You could have taken an exit, turned around, gone back, and accepted your papers like a man. Instead, you acted like a big baby and you let your daughter be the one to accept service. Oh my God. Keep in mind, these are the same people. Robbie is the same person who has been saying for a year now that Jeremy Hales has no case against him and he will beat him in court. Well, why is he so afraid to accept the service then? Everybody involved in this case is dodging service. You've got ex-felon Richard Luthman dodging service and posting about it like it's some kind of joke. You've got the Fleas were trying to, Lisa Lee was trying to avoid service. That didn't work out. She got served eventually. Dave Teschendorf is doing ridiculous things like refusing to leave his house and ordering from DoorDash all day long, and not going anywhere, trying not to be served. It's absurd. If they truly believe that that they're going to win in court, just accept the papers and don't use children as a human shield. It's gross. Robbie goes on to say, despite these facts, plaintiff Jeremy Hales posted a video online mocking me as Dodgy Robbie. Well, what else are you when you're dodging service like this? And falsely claiming that I had been served simply because the police told him I was being followed by a process server. No. It's a combination of things. They told you, you were informed, and then your daughter took the papers. What she did with the papers doesn't matter. She had them in her hands. And because you called the cops, Robbie, it's on video. You can't deny it now. So he's claiming that none of this was valid. Okay, let's go to the process server's account. I'm not going to go over the car chase thing because, again, what I'm interested in and what is the actual service which happened at the gate that night. The process server returned to, this is the process server's account, returned to Keszey's residence and posted the federal summons and complaint to his entrance gate. The server attempted to call him, but the call went into voicemail. The server remained near the residence until someone returned to the residence. A female believed to be Mr. Keszey's daughter arrived at the home operating a Buick bearing a Florida registration redacted, which is also registered to Mr. Keszey at his address. I informed her that the summons and complaint is for Mr. Keszey. She removed it from the gate prior to unlocking it and took the summons and complaint inside. Now that's the only part about this that I think he got wrong, because she threw it on the ground. But it doesn't matter. She had it in her hands. This action aligns with the statute. Furthermore, this is the same individual I saw the day prior operating the same vehicle with another female as she was exiting the residence. The server asked her if she lived at the residence, and her reply was, "We don't live here." Well, that's a lie. You probably shouldn't lie to a process server, because this is all going into court. As the process server was parked near the subject's residence and partially in the neighbor's driveway, two Sumter County sheriffs, the same two that pulled over the server earlier, arrived at the residence and drove past me and onto the subject's property, where they remained for quite a while. As they were leaving, they approached the server and informed him he had to leave the area based on the premise of being on the subject's property, which in fact the server wasn't. But the server departed the area without incident. Okay, let's go back now and read the daughter's affidavit. Now, I have redacted her name because this is all your fault, Robbie, that her name is now public information. I don't have to redact it, but I'm going to, because as a mother, I don't believe that people's children who have nothing to do with their YouTube spats or whatever should be involved in this. But you made it so that she was. And this is your fault as a father. You should never have done this. You should never have called the police like that. It's unbelievable. So I'm redacting it, even though she's 21 years old, and I don't need to, but I'm going to, because I don't think that she has anything to do with this. Now, later when I show you the video, her face is going to be there because it's a public record, and this is all Robbie's fault. I want you to get mad that he did this to his daughter, who has nothing to do with any of this dispute with him and Jeremy Hales. How dare he? How dare he, as a father, put his daughter in a position to be in a viral video in a nationally followed case? This was so unnecessary. So she says, my name is, whatever, redacted. I'm over 18 years old and competent to make this affidavit. I am the daughter of Robert Keszey. On July 15th, I arrived at our home, located here after dark. As I approached, I observed an unfamiliar vehicle parked in our driveway. I was unable to enter the property immediately because there was something wrapped around the gate. I did not remove the object from the gate at that time. At no point did I speak with, approach, or receive any documents from the individual in the video or anyone else on July 15th. Now, something that the anti-Hales ecosystem has been saying is that the process server claimed he handed her papers. We just read his account. At no time did it say that. So her saying that she didn't personally receive the summons from him, yeah, that's true. She did get it at the gate, though, and we're going to see that on the video. She said, I felt unsafe due to the unfamiliar vehicle and contacted my father, who then contacted law enforcement. The police arrived, instructed the individual to leave, and remained until I was able to access the property, which she did by removing the legal documents from the gate, which is proper service. I have reviewed the process server's affidavit stating I was personally handed the summons. That's not what it said. Let's go back. Where does it say that he personally handed her the summons? It says he informed her. I informed her that the summons and complaint is for Mr. Keszey. She removed it from the gate prior to unlocking it. That's what he said. So her affidavit here that says his affidavit stating I was personally handed the summons, that's what's false. That's not true. He didn't say that. I was never served with any legal documents on July 15th or at any other time. Yeah, you were. And I'm going to show you now how she was served. And even the police on the scene knew that if she took the documents off the gate, she would be served, or her father would be served through her, because anyone over the age of 18 can accept service for someone who lives in the same house. All right, here we have the video. Now, this was received through FOIA. Shara Michelle Wolf, who's a journalist and has been documenting this case. She got the footage. It is on her website, her YouTube, which I am happy to link in the description. Please do click on it, give her a view, give her a like, and subscribe. She's done a lot of work in this case, collecting evidence and collecting documents. So make sure that you give her a like. All right, here we go.
Hi.
They've taped these papers, and I'm not the recipient of that. Can you please remove them?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
The car is back there. I don't know if it's still there, but it's a little gray Hyundai, and they've been here like the past 2 nights. I'm kind of scared to get out of my car.
Yeah.
Because they've been there, and it's a guy, and I don't want to deal with it.
How old are you?
I'm sorry?
How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay. Yeah, we're not going to get involved in removing papers from this gate. It is what it is.
They're not for me, though, and I need to get inside.
Well, you can get inside however you see fit.
But they taped it for that.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to my dad?
No.
Okay.
How am I going to get inside? There's tape on the gate. Do you want to talk to my dad? No. No. Once he finds out that she's over 18, it's like, well, you're going to have to take the tape off and then you're going to be served. Like, the cop knows what's up. He knows what's going on, and he knows he can't do anything about it.
But they're not for me. I'm not their
I understand.
Can you move them to like the other side of the gate, maybe?
We're not going to get involved in this situation. Obviously, somebody's attempting to serve papers. Okay. They've placed them there for a purpose, and it is what it is. We're not going to intervene.
My dad's saying it's illegal for them to tape my gate shut.
It's not.
Like,
it's painter's tape. You know, the kind that's like masking tape. You just can tear it like very easily. You don't even have to use your teeth. It's not illegal. It's illegal to like put a padlock on it. Sure.
He's not even home.
Doesn't matter.
I got you.
He's down in Miami, so I don't know.
It's a interesting method, but there's no damage to the fence, so it's one of those things.
So no damage to the fence, no crime, nothing we can do. You're going to have to take it off the gate. She's on the phone with Robbie right now.
If she takes the papers, then she's being served on his behalf, basically.
Can't you just cut it off and go through?
I'm assuming that's his purpose is they can't get in without accepting the papers. So
Brilliant.
Once he can articulate that that's what's happened, then for his purposes, he's completed his service.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting approach. I don't know that him taping them to the gate would constitute anything.
It's not blocking the gate. It's not preventing them from accessing.
That's right. It's not locking the gate. It's not preventing them from accessing it. It just means she has to take that off to get in the gate. It's brilliant. And when the police officer says it's an interesting approach, they're impressed. They're impressed because this is game, set, match. It's over. It's over. You are now served. If you want to go in your gate, you got to take that paper off the gate and you are served. And how dumb is Robbie for calling the police to document this event on camera. Boy, are you a dumbass. Like, honestly, but the thing that bothers me the most about this, it's funny that he's dumb, but he's also a bad dad. You put your daughter in the center of a hot case that's being covered by multiple YouTube channels, watched by tens of thousands of people, and you just put your daughter in the middle of that. You should be ashamed of yourself. You used her as a human shield instead of just taking your balls out of your purse and going back and getting the damn documents. What kind of a man does this to his daughter? Oh my God, I'd throw myself in front of a train for my daughter. So believe me, I would accept some papers to keep her off of body cam footage. This is horrific. It's the rest of this video, it gets funny, but I keep coming back to that. I keep coming back to the kind of, what kind of person uses their kid as a human shield? This is disgusting. And Robbie Keszey ought to be ashamed of himself. Ashamed. And those of you Get Swamped fans who think that this is decent behavior, you are indecent people. This is bad behavior. Bad behavior. This is awful. Putting your daughter into this mess of a case where people have been doxxed, people have been, harassed, people have been vexatiously sued, myself. And you're putting your daughter into this willingly? I mean, wow. It's not like you don't know how police body cam works. Your wife works at this very sheriff's office. She's the media relations person. She's the public access person. She knows she has to release it. I wonder how she feels that you put her daughter into this mess. Absolutely hideous, Robbie. You should be ashamed of yourself. All right, so now they turn off their mics because they're going to call their supervisor, which I think should be illegal. I don't think they should be able to do that. I would like to know what the supervisor said about what they're supposed to do. It takes them a long time, and then they go back, and now you're going to hear Robbie on the phone with his daughter saying ridiculous things.
This is like a civil situation, okay?
How do I get in?
Whatever.
I can't even cut it. I don't have a knife or anything.
I mean, it looks like tape. I'm sure you can remove it if you wanted to. As far as not being happy about the situation and the tape being there, you can contact the state attorney's office, which is who employs this process server and all that kind of stuff, and make a complaint. But hello?
Okay, who is this?
This is Hinderhofer.
So now Robbie's going to get on the speakerphone and talk to the police, and he just doesn't want to accept this answer that she has to take the tape off. I like how she's like, well, how am I going to get it off? It's painter's tape. I'm sure you can get it off if you tried. But this gets so much more absurd.
Hey, it's Robbie.
I talked to you earlier.
Yeah, I'm down in Miami, dude, and that's where I was headed when I was talking to you earlier. And this is a process server. He cannot take my gate shut. That is illegal. That is tampering. I just spoke to a lawyer about it. It is 100% illegal.
Yeah.
He cannot impede our way into our property.
Well, I think what it would do is it would negate their claim of that the service was completed and all that kind of stuff. And, if I were you, you can make...
Now, this is a police officer wading into territory that is way above his pay grade. He is giving legal conclusions right now to Robbie, telling him, oh, well, it negates the service. No, it doesn't. He's going to be proven wrong there, because I'm telling you that the judge is going to accept this service. He is. He was notified by the sheriff. He was being served. And then the person who is of age, who lives in his house, took the papers off the gate. It doesn't matter what she did with him after that. She could shred them and it wouldn't matter. That is legal service. And this officer is now opining to him that he thinks that it's not really service. That's not his job. He should not be saying any of this, but he's telling this to Robbie, which is really stupid.
Maybe make a complaint with the state attorney's office, which is, I believe...
Imagine complaining to the state attorney's office that their server put painter's tape on your gate.
where they're employed, but I don't think it rises to the level of criminal to where we as law enforcement can get involved. And I've already...
Is he still parked in my driveway?
Well, he's parked off the side of the road here.
All right, so now at this point, Robbie tells him, well, no, that's actually there's an easement, it's my property. And then the officer, looks it up, and then he's going to ask the guy to leave. There's more ridiculousness, though.
He can't even really park there because that's stalking.
Yeah, I'm not very versed in civil process laws. I did try to do some research on the way here as well. And,
Right.
Just them being parked near your house, like conducting surveillance, so to speak, wouldn't constitute stalking.
Nope. A process server is not stalking you. And in fact, when a process server has to sit on your house to wait for you, they also have to alert the sheriff or the police in the area to tell them I'm conducting surveillance. And so it's all above board. And the guy works for the state attorney's office. You really think he's breaking laws out there and stalking you? No, it's not stalking. This is how our process works, right? Our country, and remember the Wild West when there were no laws and people were just stringing one another up for offenses? We don't do that anymore. And the reason why is because mob justice isn't justice. And so in order to settle disputes now, the proper and civilized way to do it is to go to court. And when someone says, I have a problem with you, they serve you with papers and you show up and work it out in front of a judge. That is part of being involved in this American civilized society. And if you, as a citizen, you have a duty to accept those papers. Stop it. Just stop it and go fight it out in court. And here's the other thing that's really annoying about this. Robbie Keszey has all his legal fees paid for by a big donor who dropped $6,000 just the other night. And that's just a drop in the bucket of what he's given him towards his legal fees. And this is the same guy who gave $56,000 to build Lynette Preston's barn. For those of you who don't know who she is, it's connected to the greater Jeremy Hale's story. But this is a donor with very deep pockets. He's a multi-millionaire, and he is offered to pay Robbie's legal fees. So you have a guy who doesn't even have to pay his legal fees, still avoiding service. That tells you something. It tells you that he's very worried that he's going to lose this lawsuit. Why else wouldn't he just accept the papers? He doesn't even have to pay for the attorney. It's crazy.
Because obviously they have a job to do and they have to make reasonable attempts to do what they got to do. He can't trespass, open your gate and come onto your property, that kind of stuff.
Can he impede the entrance to my property?
It's not impeded.
Yeah, why can't he lock me out? Why can't I get in my house?
You can get in.
Well,
I have to work
She's
at
locked
3
out.
a.m.
She's not locked out.
We got one lane open, but we're still gonna need a lane.
if it was damaged or if it was chained or something like that, I would be more understanding. But the fact that it's
seriously, if someone kidnaps someone and uses duct tape, it's not illegal.
no, we're talking about two different things now.
So Robbie just said, so if someone uses duct tape, it's not illegal? It's not duct tape. Dude, it's painter's tape. It's the kind that tears and doesn't even have stickiness. Like, it just comes right off. It's not duct tape. And the cop calls him out. He's like, well, now we're talking about two different things.
Dude, you're impeding the entrance to my house.
No, you're not. It's not impeding anything.
He zip tied the entrance shut.
Well, it looks like tape. It's not zip tied.
Okay, well, tape is... She can't get in. She has nothing
So
to
good.
it with.
I've already talked to the sergeant who talked to the lieutenant, and that's what was discussed, is that we're not going to intervene on that part of it. That's like a civil issue. You'll have to take it up with the state attorney's office or whoever. But I will look at the property appraiser real quick and see where the property lines are, and if he's on your property, I will ask him to leave.
In the meantime, can you cut the tape so she can get in there? She's
Nope.
open tomorrow.
That's what I just explained to you, is that I cannot intervene in that part.
Nope.
If she wanted to, I'm sure she can forcibly remove that tape. It's not like, duct tape wound up. It's like painter's.
Piper,
It's painter's tape.
can you get the tape off, Piper?
I don't want to hurt my hands.
What? I don't want to hurt my hands. on painter's tape. See, Robbie, again, I'm mad at you. You did this to your kid. You made her think that she had to tell ridiculous lies, that this would somehow get you out of this service, and it didn't. You should have known you were done for. You were the game over. You were served. And instead, you let her be making ridiculous claims on public body cam footage. And now people are laughing at your kid. And this is your fault. It makes me mad. And it gets worse. All right, you can't hear this part because the officer walked further away. So I'm just going to fast forward until he comes back, because now he does the property. He's asking about the property. Where is the property line?
Other than that, unfortunately, I wish I could help more, but there's certain things that
Can you do me a favor and walk up while she takes the tape off? Because if she's injured taking that tape off, I want you to take pictures of that because I am pressing charges on them.
This is the dumbest thing he's said so far. Can you walk up with her to the tape and watch her, film her as she's taking it off and take pictures? Because if she injures herself, I'm suing them. Robbie, first of all, the chances of her injuring herself on blue painter's tape are 0. Secondly, you've just ensured that the proper service, the completion of service, is filmed. Wow. The IQ levels have probably not been recorded. They're so low in this video that we've never seen IQ levels this low. Great job, Robbie. Great job. And also, injured, in case she injures herself, which of course he's giving her ideas. And now you're going to watch as she goes to try to remove the tape and dramatically, very dramatically, over dramatically seems to struggle with it. And the policeman has to tell her how to take it off. It's silly.
Okay.
So instead of unwinding the tape, she decides to go down through 5 layers or however many and try to pull them off the gate. This has to be intentional. It has to be. No one would do this unless you're trying to make it appear that you are struggling and hurting yourself.
Try peeling from there, maybe.
The cop points at the edge of the tape, which is literally sticking up. Like, it's because it's not sticky. It's blue tape. It's planer's tape. And goes, maybe try peeling from there. Like, peel it off. Just stop trying to break through the whole, 5 layers of it.
Just go around it.
Just go around.
There you go.
And there you have it. Let's back up. So that we have proper service. Right there. She's holding the papers. Got them in her hands. She's above age. She's a resident of the house. She has he has been informed he's being served by the sheriff, by the way, by the sheriff's officers earlier in the day. This is completion of service right here. And now she throws it on the ground. Here we go.
There you go.
And leaves it on the ground. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she fed it to the gators afterwards. She held it in her hands. That is proper service. So there you have it. Robbie Keszey has been served. And it is very clear that he is served. And that video, I'm sure, will be entered into evidence in court to show the judge that effective service was completed. Robbie, poorly done. Really bad. This is terrible parenting. And I feel very sorry for your daughter that she was put into this. But also, you should not have encouraged her to tell lies in her affidavit. She is a 21-year-old person. She can be held accountable for perjury. And you put her in a position to tell lies to a court about the process server trying to hand her things, which is clear was not in his affidavit at all. Why are you putting your daughter in this kind of legal trouble? Why would you do such a thing? Be a better parent. Be better, Robbie, because this is terrible. Shame on you. You know what? You deserve the shame bell.
Shame, shame, shame.
Your daughter didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve to be in a viral video that is now going to be on all these different channels, and people are going to be watching it and laughing at it. And because this is a public case, you should have just accepted the papers. Just accept the service. Be a man. Fight it out in court. You have said that Jeremy Hales doesn't have a case against you. So go in court like a man and prove it. Bring your evidence and prove it. And you've got free legal. Free. Because of your donor. Stop being such a coward. Just face Jeremy Hales in court. That's it for me today. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.